In this lecture, we would like to discuss another most important legal and political concept, and that is equality. So, equality, as it is being defined by Professor Ernest Walker, as after all, equality is a derivative value. It is derived from the supreme value of the development of personality in each alike and equally, but each along its own different line and of its own separate motion, as Professor Ernest Walker defined the very meaning of equality in his work Principles of Social and Political Theory, and as Professor Hadorlowski defined it as fundamentally, therefore, equality implies a certain labeling process. Social forces accordingly need to be so arranged that each gets his due. It means that the realization of an individual's best self must be matched by the realization by others of their best selves. So, Professor Hadorlowski, in his work A Grammar of Politics, expressed that it can therefore be pointed out that equality implies three things. So, according to Lasky, first it means the absence of special privilege. In the political sphere, the will of an individual as a factor in the counting of heads is equal to that of any other. In other words, everyone should have an equal access to the avenues of authority. And secondly, according to Lasky, equality means provision for adequate opportunities to all. Here, of course, the phrase adequate opportunity does not mean equal opportunities, since citizenship implies the application of trained intelligence. Equality simply means that all men are given such training as seems in the light of experience most likely to develop their faculties to the full. It implies that any distinction should be secured for common welfare. And the third implication, according to Lasky, equality flows from the very second implication he explained. Equality is most largely a matter of proportions. The things without which life is meaningless must be accessible to all. The urgent claims of all must be met before we can meet the particular claims of some. So the above certain minimum level, of course, differences in the capacities and needs of the individual should call for different treatment. So, equality implies equal distribution of rights to the individuals by state in terms of legal capacity. Therefore, each personality is equal to every other. And as properly Professor Ernest Walker in his analogy expressed, we are thus arranged as it were in a label line at the starting point of the rest that lies ahead. and we start from that level line so far as the state is concerned, with equal conditions guaranteed to each for making the best of himself. However, much we may eventually differ in what we actually make of ourselves. So, equality is the start and not the finish. And now we'll discuss the concept of natural inequality as propounded by the ancient Greek political philosopher Plato and Aristotle. So, the concept of equality in political theory postulates some basic rights for all, irrespective of sex, race, religion, culture, or wealth. But citizenship was hardly all inclusive. The elitist trend traceable to the Greek thinkers like Plato in his work, The Republic, and also Aristotle in his work, Politics. So, accordingly, the exercise of governmental authority was the proud reserve of a select section, as according to Plato in his Republic, the philosopher kings. So some men, it was claimed, were naturally more fit than others. So government should therefore recognize this fact of natural inequality and strive to foster and not eliminate it. The exponents of natural inequality drew their ammunition from the arsenal of science, thus the services of biology, biometry, eugenics, and social psychology were requirements to establish the fact of inequality on a scientific basis, as it was expressed by Professor Cooker in his work Recent Political Thought. So, especially with the advent of democracy, the advocates of inequality sought to reinforce their idea as a counterweight against the democratic premise of human equality. So now we'll discuss about the doctrine of equality and how we trace the very origin and evolution of the doctrine of equality in Stoic philosophy and as by the Romans in their legal and juristic principle jus gentium. So the doctrine of equality had to be developed in the face of the practice and the counter doctrine of inequality. The roots of the doctrine of equality can be traced to Stoic philosophy, which is an ancient philosophy which discovered the light of reason in every man. So also the Roman juristic principle and construction of jus gentium marked another significant step forward toward the conception of a common humanity. What the Stoics formulated and the Roman jurists sought to apply was reinforced by the Christian vision of universal brotherhood of man. Also, the philosophies of the English philosopher John Locke and the French revolutionary politician Voltaire and the French political philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau and the American freedom fighter and the champion of liberty Thomas Jefferson and Tom Paine were written in vindication of natural equality of men. Locke, for instance, wrote, to understand political power, right, and derive it from its original, we must consider what state all men are naturally in. That is a state of perfect freedom to utter their actions, a state also of equality wherein all the power and jurisdiction is reciprocal, no one having more than others. The ideas which the American and the French revolutionaries released marked a great advance in the direction of equality. So, as it was, we found in the writings of English philosopher, political philosopher John Locke in his work Two Treatises of Civil Government. So the movement was equalitarianism has not yet run its course in the mid-20th century. With the increasing democratization of government, the fundamental problem has been to pull down the barriers of segregation and to offer equal opportunity to all. The main aim of democracy has everywhere been to eliminate man-made, socially forced discrimination that has enlarged for some and restricted for others the avenues that lead to education, income, and advancement, as it was expressed by Professor Lipson in his great work, The Great Issues of Politics. So, the difference in the gifts which character and intellect, the uniformity, and a refusal to recognize the natural differences that in character and intellect, because the differences in the gifts which nature has bestowed on some and denied to others. Natural inequality has been and must continue to be a fact in human society. Democracy, however, believes that in a climate of equal opportunities and privileges, can the differences in mental and moral equipment of man best come out. Thus, a democratic system which seeks to combine general social justice with opportunities for the articulation of natural individual distinctiveness marks an attempt to reconcile natural inequality as a fact with the principle of natural equality as a doctrine. So, as Lord Bryce expressed, it is one of the chief problems of which every government has to solve. So, in our upcoming lecture, we will discuss the kinds of equality and the conflict and difference between liberty and equality.